how I'm firing. I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong. Ah, 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 ah.
All right, guys, we are back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And guys, I want to talk about the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. You guys know he has a huge fight coming up in September. He'll be taking on the pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford, for his undisputed titles at 168 pounds. A lot of people are seeing this fight as, you know, the biggest fight in boxing to this date. I'm, for one, I see it that way. I know some people are going to disagree with that, but I think this is the biggest fight in boxing right now at this point in time. And we're going to get it. And we're going to see who's the best. It doesn't get any bigger. It doesn't get any bigger than the face of boxing versus the pound-for-pound king for boxing supremacy. And we're getting it. And I want to shout out Turki Al-Sheikh for actually making this happen. Now, what I want to talk about, I want to talk about Canelo's comments on the comparison of Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford. You guys know he fought Floyd back in 2013. I think that was Canelo Alvarez's first loss. And, you know, a lot of things changed after that loss. Canelo Alvarez, you know, instead of taking his ball and going home, he became a better fighter. You know, he look where he's at now. You know, he is the face of boxing, and he's a two-time undisputed champion. Now, let me read this comment here. It was from Sun Sports, and I want to give my take on this, what I think about this, and I'm interested in knowing what you guys think about this as well. So let me quote him here. He says, "I think Crawford is better than Mayweather because he's got both sides. He fights orthodox and southpaw. He's more intelligent. That's what I think." So that is Canelo Alvarez's own words to Sun Sports about what he, you know, contrasting Floyd Money Mayweather versus Terence Crawford. Now, on the surface, I know what a lot of Crawford fans are going to say. They're going to say, well, Floyd Mayweather beat you every round, even though they didn't give him every round. So if Crawford is better than Floyd, then you don't stand a chance versus Terence Crawford. I could see people saying that. I could see that playing in people's minds. But there are different circumstances when it comes to this, because it's a different time now. Canelo Alvarez was a lot younger then. You know, he was a lot less experienced than he is now. You know, he has a lot of experience up under his belt. He's been in the ring with all types of fighters, and he's improved as a fighter. And it's in a higher weight class, you know, where he was fighting Floyd in the lower weight classes. He's going to be fighting higher at a weight class he's more comfortable with than Terence Crawford, who has never, ever fought at 168. He's coming up 2 weight classes, daring to be great. And so those are circumstances that you have to consider going into this fight. Now, what I'm interested in knowing is, what do you guys think about what he said? Do you think Terence Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Money Mayweather Jr.? Now, personally, I had to think on this really hard, because I'm a huge fan of Floyd Money Mayweather Jr., and I'm also a huge fan of Terence Crawford. So I did what I normally do. I go to the skill set. I look at the skill set and I say, who has the better skill set? And there's a little bit of truth to what Canelo Alvarez had to say there in that quote. He says that, you know, he is a switch hitter. You know, he can switch from righty to lefty. That is true. Floyd cannot do that. Now, whether or not he's a more intelligent fighter, I can't really call it. You know, both of those guys have an extremely high boxing IQ. I will say that Mayweather, I would say Mayweather's a little bit more disciplined than Crawford. Crawford is willing to, you know, take a lot more chances, in my opinion, and go off the handle sometime to get his get back. And I think the thing that's going for Crawford is the power. You know, he has more power than Floyd Money Mayweather, because, you know, he was able to stop everybody at 147, all his opponents. So he does have that in his corner, in my opinion. So I would say in a sense that Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. But that just lets me know that Canelo Alvarez has his work cut out for him in this fight, despite what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that, you know, Canelo's going to go in there and bulldoze Crawford because he's a smaller guy. But just remember, guys, we heard the same thing leading up to the fight with Errol Spence Jr. We heard a lot of people saying that, you know, he was going to bulldoze Crawford because he was too small. We heard even Errol said that Crawford was light in ass. You guys remember that. And he schooled Errol Spence Jr., one of the biggest fighters at 147 at the time. You guys remember that. So, yeah, I think Canelo's correct in this assessment. I think Terence Crawford is a little bit better than Floyd Money Mayweather, in my opinion. I know some of you guys are going to disagree with that. But like I said, I compare and contrast the skill sets, and whoever has the most tools in their bag, you know, to me, that's who's going to come out on top. And that's why I'm picking Crawford to win the fight. I think he is the better fighter. You know, he has the more tools in his arsenal. And Canelo Alvarez, he has some holes in his game. You know, even back then, he had trouble with his feet, his footwork, and that still haunts him to this day. He hasn't really improved on that. Now, he's improved as a fighter with the things that he was good at, but the things that he wasn't that good at, he hasn't really improved. So his footwork is not that great. I will say his stamina has improved a lot more. And I think his combination punching has improved a lot more too. I would say that. But that footwork and not being able to cut off the ring is going to give him problems when it comes to Terence Crawford. But we'll see. You know, it's boxing. You just never know who's going to win. You know, it's, you know, anything can happen. I say that all the time on the channel. It's boxing. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing. But anyway, guys, you guys let me know what you think about what Canelo Alvarez had to say. Do you think he's right? Do you think Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Money Mayweather Jr.? And do you think that Terence Crawford can pull up the upset of the century, becoming a 3-time undisputed champion and the king of boxing? You guys let me know what you think about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.